Okay. So there are different companies, and I want to give you an example of some companies. And when you work with these companies, what kind of products you're going to be using, and what kind of concerns you're going to have to deal with when you do that. So I'm choosing all these companies from before. So there's Merck, Unilever, Maxwell Coffee House, ExxonMobil, and Ferrero, and these sort of touch upon all these industries I talked about before. Where Merck is going to be a drug company, Unilever is personal product, Maxwell is food, ExxonMobil is big oil, and Ferrero again is. Food. So let's take these products that they make. So Merck makes aspirin, for example, or is Unilever will make Dove soap and stuff like that. Let's say Ferrero is making Nutella, the new product in Nepal. Okay, so what do I care if I am an engineer working for Ferrero making Nutella in Nepal? Okay, Nepal is very cold, isn't it? It's up in the Himalayas. So will my product be okay there? And if you look at the Nutella bottle, which I don't know why you would ever look at that. I would just destroy it and eat it. But let's say you look at that, it says do not refrigerate. So when these people in Nepal are buying Nutella, is it going to ruin their experience with Nutella? So I, as an engineer, need to understand how to make their experience more pleasurable when they eat this product. And so maybe I have to add something to it so that it will work better in their refrigerated country, right? Uh, so for another example is Unilever. I'm making Dove soap for them. How do I incorporate a specific scent? Okay, so they found out through consumer products, these marketing people, they found out that uh, women nowadays really like lavender. Okay, they just figured that out. Psychological studies, whatever. They discovered that when they smell lavender, they want to buy Dove soap more than if they smell pine, whatever. So Unilever is going to put all its money now into trying to figure out how to put lavender into Dove soap. Okay, So your job now is to figure out how to make sure it's stable. So as you know, working at Unilever, I can buy this lavender scent, and I have my formulation for Dove that I've already worked on. Now I have to sort of mix them together. It sounds pretty easy. I can mix them together, but what happens if when I mix them together, I create these lumps or things separate, and or let's say Dove soap becomes black or green or something that's not really nice and not associated with lavender. What do I do? How do I fix that? So it's not a very easy thing to do. There's a lot of other factors that are concerned with that. One more thing I want to discuss it in length is the aspirin. I'm making an aspirin tablet, and I want to figure out how to make sure that this drug gets delivered to the right place and in the right dosage. So I need to know how many milligrams of aspirin I have in my tablet and how many milligrams of the aspirin will end up where they need to end up in the body. And they're very important because at every portion in the body, a lot of the aspirin will get lost and not necessarily reach the right spot. So I need to figure out the vehicle that's going to carry this aspirin through the body. And chemical engineers that work for Merck, a lot of times they don't deal with aspirin that's sort of been done to death. They deal with new cancer medications or new Ebola medications or new AIDS medications or things like that. Things that are novel. How do I make these new drugs and how to make sure that they reach the right places? So again, the chemist will figure out how to make the drug, but we will need to figure out how to deliver them to the right places and how to make them and how to scale it up. We have to do all these things. And just make sure you understand, you might be a chemical engineer working at Merck who is specifically concerned with drug delivery. So you're not necessarily going to talk about scale up. You're going to be doing drug delivery. Another chemical engineer will work with scale up, but you can discuss this with her or with him, and sort of have an intelligent conversation where you both understand what you guys are doing, and when you're scaling it up, the drug delivery portion of it will stay intact, but you will be concerned mostly with one of these aspects rather than two of them, usually. And you can always swap back and forth if you need to, but usually people tend to specialize in one area. So we often deal with chemically reactive species and that have quick changes to the physical states. And so we are concerned with a lot of interactions of our ingredients with one another and the length of time that their reaction or physical change is taking place. Since we carry these ingredients and solvents of sorts, I touched up on that, we also need to worry about their flow properties. And when these things flow, maybe they'll start interacting thermally, and then they will start affecting the equipment. So we need to understand the thermal effect and the equipment effect. And so all these concepts and all these fundamentals translate in mass production. And if you are specializing in mass production, you need to understand these very well. What aspect in our process dictates all of these concerns, in your opinion? So the answer is the starting materials. When discussing mass production, there are a lot of things that are that come into effect. So this is sort of my last discussion of mass production, and then we'll talk about the material selection in more detail today after this. When I let's say make Nutella for the whole country, I need to understand how my cocoa butter is going to interact with the milk solids in my product. They might interact when there's a whole lot of them. Maybe they'll react together, form a third product that I don't want. Starting to understand the kinetics of that. How long is that going to take? Maybe that's going to dictate to me the expiration date for Nutella. When I do that, I'm going to flow the Nutella from these mixing vats into their containers that we buy in the store. So I need to understand how they flow. I need to understand how thermal effects might make this happen faster or slower, both the flow and the kinetics. But as you see all these things, what aspect of our process dictates all of these concerns? And the answer is the starting materials. And so we need to discuss the starting materials at length, and this is the major discussion of today's lecture. So, uh, so as chemical engineers, we need to understand how to select materials for the final product. I talked about that in the beginning of this lecture, and I told you that engineers do that in general, but now hopefully you understand what I mean by product. We have lots of different products. Okay, so pick any one of those examples I gave you. We need to understand how to create I need to come up with these starting materials to create this new drug or this new Dove soap. Uh, and the branch of engineering that's intimately concerned with selecting materials and their properties is materials science. And as chemical engineers and mechanical engineers, and even civil engineers, you take a course in material science to understand sort of like what the materials do, how to choose them, and how they interact down the line. But it's a very important facet of chemical engineering in general. Before we go on, what is a material? What do we mean by that? So I want you to take 2 minutes to define this for yourself. So according to Merriam-Webster, a substance is something that is made, matter that has some qualities that give it individuality, and that this allows it to be categorized. So that is the official definition of a material, and it actually works very well for what we need in chemical engineering. So as you can see, the words that I've highlighted go towards a specific branch of material science. The first one, qualities and individuality. Every material has its own properties, right? And we will discuss that at length. Uh, how something is made touches upon its manufacturing process. And we sort of talked about that already, how we manufacture things. And we'll talk about that a little bit more. And these things that give the material its properties and allow for its manufacture allow you to classify these materials. You can classify materials into different classes.